Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am here to do a tutorial for you guys that was requested by a subby, and we will be making some hot cocoa mugs that you can put whatever goodies you would like inside. This is what it looks like. I will take out the goodie pack so you can see what it looks like. These are not hard to make and they're super fun. So I just have this clear bag with a hot cocoa mix and some chocolates that's tied with some ribbon at the top. And I'm just showing you the inside. And I normally put a cupcake liner which fits in there perfectly. And that's because of these holes at the bottom here. So if you had some smaller items that you were gifting, that really holds that in place so that it doesn't fall through. So this is what we'll be making today. So let me share with you the supplies that you will be needing. First, you will need a envelope punch board. You will need this to create this project. You will also need a scoreboard. Sorry, mine's just a little dirty here. You will need a bone folder as well as a pair of scissors. And also, of course, some adhesive. I'm going to use this 1/2-inch double-sided tape. So first you want to take a piece of cardstock, and this measures 9.5 by 7 3/4. Make sure that if your paper is directional, that your pattern is going across the 9.5-inch side. So place your paper in your scoreboard with a 9.5-inch across the top, and we're going to start scoring at 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, and 9. So basically we are going to have 6 panels that are 1.5 inches wide, and then that 1/2 inch across the end. Now with the short side across the top, score it at 1.5 and 5 1/4. So this is what it should look like when you are done scoring. Now go ahead and fold and burnish on all your score lines. Alrighty, so on the left side here, that is measuring 1.5 inches. That will be the bottom. And then the 2.5 inches, that's going to be your top. So bring in your envelope punch board, and we will be punching along the bottom portion of the cardstock where it measures 1.5 inches. So if you look at the envelope punch board here, you want to line up the center of the punch with your score line, right where I pointed to. We're going to start punching, and I made a mistake and forgot to punch the first section, but I'll realize that and do that after punching this section. So I'm going to line up that score line with the middle of that punch, and I'm going to bring up my punch board with the paper inside, so hopefully you can see where that is lined up. So when that's lined up, go ahead and punch. And it might be a little tricky since you will be punching through 2 layers of cardstock, so depending on the weight of what you are using. So when you open the flap, that is what it should look like. So here's where I realized I forgot to punch the first edge. So I'll go ahead and do that really quick. So that's what you have so far. Now repeat the same steps as the first portion that I showed you, by folding on the scored line and lining it up with the middle of your punch on each of the sections until you reach the opposite side. Here's what it looks like after all the punching. Now we are going to do some trimming. We first want to remove the first 1/2 inch section at the bottom corner and then cut up each section, creating the 6 bottom flaps. Okay, we'll continue trimming on the 1/2 inch section, and we only need the section in the middle, so remove that upper portion right there. And then that middle section, go ahead and just wedge in on either side. So this is what your cardstock should look like. Now we are going to go ahead and apply the adhesive. So grab your score tape or your double-sided adhesive, and we're going to place a line right there and right there. Now be careful to leave a 1/2 inch on that left side free so that we can tuck in that flap. We are also going to apply adhesive to that 1/2 inch flap, and this is on the front side of the cardstock. So put your 1/2 inch score tape or your double-sided adhesive right there. And then we're also going to apply adhesive to the bottom to close it up. So this is on the inside of the cardstock. So place your adhesive on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th tab at the very bottom. When you're using double-sided tape, make sure to burnish it really well so that the backer paper comes off. So this is what it looks like with all the adhesive on. So I'm going to start assembling it by taking off the 2 larger strips of adhesive and just go ahead and fold that down. And that's just going to give it more stability when we put the entire mug together. There is that little section where that 1/2 inch tab will go. Now I made a mistake by putting adhesive on the front and the back, and it made it really tricky for me to get that lined up before the adhesive stuck. So you only want to put it on the outer part of that 1/2 inch tab. So I finally got that in there as best I could. So that's what it looks like. And now we're going to close up the bottom. So flip it over and then just kind of tuck the flaps out and go ahead and remove the adhesive from the 3 panels. And basically we are going to do one side at a time, just grabbing the opposite flap that does not have adhesive, and you want to bring it up all the way to the widest part of that flap, and I hope that makes sense. So I show you right here. So that's that widest part. And then continue to do that all the way around for the 2 remaining flaps. So there is the bottom all done. Now you can go ahead and finish that off by taking a 1 3/4 inch circle, and that will fit nicely on the bottom if you just want to cover up all that layering that we did. But that part is totally optional. Now, the seam where we closed it up, that will be the back of the mug. So right there on the right is where we will attach the handle. So to create the handle, I'm using my Diamond Dies nesting ovals, and I will use the smallest and the third smallest oval. And I went ahead and die cut that already out of the pattern paper. Now my center oval is not that straight, but it is totally fine. So if you're using the same dies to create your handle, you want to place it in your scoreboard, and we are going to score it at 1 1/8 on the top and the bottom, as well as 1 5/8. So basically you want to have a 1/2 inch section where we can attach it. So that's what it looks like. Go ahead and fold and burnish on those score lines. And right there is where that will be attached to the mug. So I will be using some wet glue this time. You can use double-sided tape to attach it. So on those two folded portions, I'm going to just apply some of my art glitter glue. And I'm going to go ahead and bring my mug back in. So remember that seam, that will be the back. So you want to go 2 panels over that panel right there, and you want to line that up close to the middle and at the top. So I just eyeballed it. You can measure it if you want to be very precise, but I'm just making sure that it goes over that curve. So I just kind of flatten it out a little bit to let the glue set, and then fold the handles back up and add some adhesive to basically the middle portion so we can glue that handle shut. And you'll also see that when I do close that up for the handle, that because my die cutting was not the greatest, you will see a slight peek of the inside cardstock, but I'm totally fine with that. These do not need to be perfectly symmetrical. You really cannot tell once you have the whole thing put together. But look how super cute. And then you can go ahead and you can put your cupcake liner in if you choose to put smaller items. I just have a random Christmas one. So I'm going to put that inside. And then you can go ahead and decorate the front of it just like I did for the sample that I showed you. I just took a dimensional sticker and stuck it on the front and called it done. So there are so many different ways that you can go ahead and embellish this. So that's it, guys. That's how you create these super cute mugs. I really hope that it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, put them down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, everyone.